Welcome to your favorite Tennessee Titans podcast, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Jacques,
Oh,
Jacques,
oh,
what's up, folks? What is going on? How is everybody doing today? Welcome in to the Bleacher Report show, man, with the Tennessee Titans, man. We got that boy, me and Jacques, man. We are here, man. Jacques,
yes,
we're
sir.
about to talk about this Titans victory, preseason victory over the San Francisco 49ers, the 49ers, 17-13 in Nashville tonight, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, well, let me say this: football's back. But I told you, football's been back for
Woo.
me for a couple of weeks. But the NFL is back. Let me say that. So it's back and intact, man. It is good to see some football, but Titans football to be specific. So again, hey, shout out to them boys, man. They done really did some things. So Hawk, I know you peeped the game, you've seen the game or whatnot. So we're just gonna get into it,
Absolutely.
dog.
Yes,
Give
sir.
me your overall thoughts on how well or how bad the Titans played today.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, man. I was pretty excited watching the game, bro. I'm actually on how well they played side on this one, bro. I think, man, honestly, looking at the offense, especially in the first series, I mean, we scored 2 touchdowns. So, looking at what we did on offense, moving the football, the play of the offensive line, the play calling, Will Levis pushing the ball down the field, Tony Pollard running well, Tajay Spears doing his thing. I saw Traylon Burks with a few plays. Like, offensively, we were moving the football, right? I know it's the preseason, but Jacques, I got to give you credit. You was like, Hawk, they're moving faster. I noticed that too. I was noticing how fast we were running on offense. It looks like our offense is going to have more of a dynamic of pass, right? Like, pass is going to be a big part of this. And so I noticed that we were pushing the ball, even with Mason Rudolph in the game and even with Malik Willis in the game. I could tell we had a focus to get the ball down the field. And even if not vertically, even horizontally, just getting players in space, right? I noticed that throughout. I was very impressed on the offense. Even on defense, let me go back to the offense real quick. I think we only allowed 1 sack all game. I think that was it. Like, the offensive line played much better than I thought we would be. So I'm very proud of the O-line and how well they played. They've been getting work in the preseason or in mini camp by the defense. So that's probably what's helping them. And I even think on defense, our defense played very aggressive up front, making tackles, making plays. Even when the 49ers were trying to throw the ball down deep, you had players like Jarvis Brownlee knocking the ball down. You had players like Chance Campbell making plays all over the field. You see that boy Reese out there, just on a murder squad, just trying to hit anything in front of them. I felt today, I know it's a preseason game. It's preseason 1. But I'm going to tell you, Jock, like I told you earlier, if we do well, you're going to hear it from me, bro. And I'm telling you, I felt that the offense did very well, and I think our defense played good today, man. So and more than anything, Jock, I'm very impressed with our special teams, dog. So that's how I think we did very well today in the 17-14 victory over the 17-13 victory over the 49ers. What about you, Jock?
And facts on paper. I mean, you covered it, man. I mean, just to add to it, I mean, I'm gonna go on the offensive side of the ball, specifically the offensive line. And I think I told you even in our prior show, what I'm watching for is specifically them. To see how that unit is gelling. J.C. Latham had a nice little pancake on the left side. The right side blocked very well as well, especially on that one drive where Tajay Spears was able to break free on a couple of those runs. Again, it's preseason, so you're not really game planning. You're not really calling real plays like you're in your real playbook. So from what I've been able to see, I'm like, hey, like you said, pushing the ball down the field, but specifically the offensive line is what impressed me. And again, it couldn't look no better than what it was last year, but all 3 quarterbacks had time to throw the ball. I think that was my biggest thing. I was like, man, this is interesting. Another thing that I liked was the linebacking core. The linebacking core, which was a big question mark after we got Murray, after we drafted Gray from North Carolina, and then we have Jack Gibbons, who's the other starter. That first series that first series that San Francisco was able to march down there, run the ball, whatnot, you could tell them getting nerves out. But the depth of that unit is starting to show. I'm like, wow, the depth. What we questioned, because it was a big question mark with our linebacker core. Actually, I'm not going to say it answered a lot of questions, but it answered few questions. I'm like, hey, Otis, Otis Reese is the truth. Chance, that joker's pretty solid. And they all fit a specific mold. They're quick, they're fast, they're good coverage linebackers. So we got a good mix of run stopping and coverage at the same breath. I'm gonna go to the defensive play calling. Shout out to our DC. Hey, they're not killing it, dog. I've seen a lot of blitzes. He's very aggressive when it comes to calling plays. Blitzing, I mean, sending the house, sending the linebackers, but you have to have the DBs to accommodate that style of play, right? So if you don't have good man corners, you screw. It's not gonna happen, right? So shout out to them. And again, like you said, special teams. We almost had a kick return and a punt return go to the house. We haven't had that ever, really. So that's especially with these new rules that they have, it benefits in our favor. Okay, it benefits in our favor. So those are some of my thoughts that I've seen overall. Overall, I am happy from the progression that I've seen from all 3 units of the team, from offense, defense, and special teams.
Gotcha, man. Facts, no paper, Jacques. Facts, no paper, bro. And for those that are watching the show as well, man, we got those poll questions out there, man. We got that poll question as far as how well you think what was the strength of the Titans versus the 49ers, man. We got offensive line play, diverse play calling, aggressive defense, or special teams, man. Hey, give us your vote, man. So, Jacques, speaking of offense, and we talked a lot about offense within the first few minutes here of this show. And you and I have talked about, like, how is this going to be during the season? Of course, it's just preseason. We understand. But so far in this game, what are your thoughts on the play calling that took place today?
We're going to be a pass-heavy team. The running of the ball was something that I said it was going to look a little funny at first because we're such a run-heavy team in the past. Now I've seen a pass-heavy. We passed the ball more than we ran the ball. And I think, too, if you look at it, third and short, we were in a lot of third and short situations, something that I liked. I'm like, okay, we're third and short, boom. Another thing that I liked about our offense is we're aggressive on 4th and 1. Callahan is not afraid to go for it when he needs to go for it, and I respect that. And each time, each quarterback had an opportunity to do a quarterback sneak. Levis, Rudolph, and Malik Willis. And it's something else I noticed. I said, okay, he has a package specifically tailored to each one. Each one has specific packages, but they all are – it's unique. It's like they're all similar with the play calling, but it's also he's going to give you a chance to make up with the strengths that you have. So that's something that I noticed. I'm like, play calling is a big 360 from what it was last year. Matter of fact, I'll say in the past maybe 5 to 6 years, it's a big difference, right? Because we don't have 22 in the backfield anymore. So you have to utilize it. 2, the combination of Spears and Pollard is going to be a deadly combination because you can interchange them. They interchange like one. They almost are so similar with Spears being a lot more shiftier. But I'm like interchange. I'm like, okay, I can't really tell the difference besides the shiftiness. They both can catch out the backfield. They both are shifty. Salute, shout out, and then again, shout out to Callahan. I mean, he's calling the plays, but shout out to him, man. I think it's his first time calling plays like that. So that's my thoughts. What about you, Hulk?
Man, I'm gonna tell you this, Jacques. From a play calling standpoint, when you look at it offensively, looking at, how many times we, threw the football at a pretty high clip. Okay. Again, moving the ball, those things vertically to the side, those things were impressive to me. And I like what Nick Holtz has done in this game. Again, I know it's preseason, but you got to see what your players can do. And what I saw there was, we're going to get the ball here, say, to Calvin Ridley. We're going to get the ball here to Tajay Spears. No one is just going to primarily dominate the football like we've had over the last several years. Now, we gave the ball to the King, future Hall of Famer. We understand that. That's the talent that he was. But looking at our team now, we have so many different type of players that could be a major positive, right? So in one week, you might not know it might be D-Hop's game. The next game could be Calvin Ridley. The next game could be Tony Pollard's game. So I saw him distributing the football throughout the game, running and throwing the football. So looking at the play calling, I thought, again, I'm not going to say it was aggressive. I thought more of the fact that it was strategic, looking at, going deep on some plays or going, throwing the ball to the tight end. Martin Robinson had a few catches today. The tight end, I had never really heard of this guy. He was getting the ball even to Oliver, the receiver, number 80. He had the ball a few times. So just getting the ball out to a lot of different players, I think is what's going to open up our offense for Will Levis to do, to do what he needs to do. And again, the offensive line with them blocking is going to help us. And I felt they did a really good job today in allowing the offense to push the ball forward. Again, I think we only gave up 1 sack this whole game. So I think that's a really big positive of our offense today, man. I was very impressed, bro, of our play calling today. Shout out to Nick Holtz on that.
It's actually Brian Callahan's calling plays.
Okay, well, that's true too. That's true.
It's like how Callahan, he has the same role as Callahan had when he was in Cincinnati last year, where Zach is calling the actual plays. But he's the one that helps, I guess, scheme and he's in the meetings with the offense and everything. Nick Holtz is. So but anyway, let's get to the next one. So what's your thoughts on let me take that back. What impressed you about the first team offense and why?
I think what impressed me on the first team offense was the offensive line, the line block. And it allowed, like to your point earlier about J.C. Latham blocking up front. I saw Bruns play pretty much the whole game, getting him a lot of experience. I think, looking at it up front, I was the most impressed with the offensive line because that's still my concern. Even going into the weeks, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, we have resolved the issues. But for what I saw today, looking at what impressed me on the first team offense was the offensive line, and which gave them an opportunity to get the ball out to Tony Pollard, to get the ball out to Tajay Spears, allowing Will Levis even to score a touchdown, like just different dynamics that it presented himself. And even the second string, even, Mason Rudolph didn't do too bad today throwing the football. Malik Willis did pretty well in running the football. So I think our offensive line blocked very, very well today, as far as what impressed me the most for the first team offense. So what about you, Jacques?
Well, I'm going to add to that before I get to me. Any concerns? Do you have any concerns?
Yeah, the concerns that I have, man, in this game, I know you're speaking earlier about our short yardage offense. We didn't convert any of those 3rd or 4th down and ones. You know what I mean? We got stopped up front. So, I don't know what type of packages we'll run during the season. I don't know if we have a power back to get that 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. So we're going to have to be very creative when we are down in those situations because that's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think that was, that's the concern that I have is, okay, what is going to be our play calls when that happens, when 3rd down and 1 comes about, or 4th and 1, if you want to gamble. If Callahan is a gambler, cool. But do you have the roster to run the ball down the middle? You know what I'm saying? Consistently. Can you do the tush push, as they say, right? So I think that was, I would say, a concern that I had because we did not have much success at all on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, especially 4th and 1. We didn't convert any of them. You know what I'm saying? It was a turnover for the most part. So that was my concern. What about you, Jacques?
Well, I'm going to go to the first team offense. The first team offense, again, the offensive line. That's what I'm looking at. There's going to be some cleanup that needs to be done from the quarterback to receiver type thing because they still got to build that relationship. But, again, I specifically am going into this preseason looking at the offensive line and how each time they're going to progress. We'll talk about that in detail later. And do I have any concerns? Injuries. Those are my concerns. The one run that Will Levis ran, he needs to protect himself. Again, this is something that needs to be coached out of him, that I still see that he's still going to continue to do what he does, and it's going to put him on the sideline if he doesn't stop. I think, coming out of this game, the 4th and 1, I think that's just a scenario type of thing that I think they'll clean up. Even the 3rd and 1s. Matter of fact, I'll say this. They converted more 3rd downs in this game than I seen them do last year on offense a lot of the time. So that's what I'm saying. Like the 3rd and 1s, like I said, the tush push, quote unquote. You got big quarterbacks. People be like, well, Malik Willis is short, but Malik Willis is thick. He's a thick, solid quarterback that can get over in that center. Will Levis is big and tall and thick as well. Mason Rudolph is tall. So I think my concern is injuries and just making sure we come out with a clean bill of health just throughout this whole game and everything like that. But with Will Levis, protect yourself, man. Stop making those boneheaded, trying to kill your opponent across the way and everything like that. So that's my thoughts, man.
Gotcha, bro. Gotcha. So how well do you think the offensive line did this game? Do you feel like they did well, they did good, did bad, do some work? How well do you feel they did?
They did well. I'm going to say it again. They did a great job. They did a hell of a job, specifically from the eye test that we have to go on last year. This is a big improvement. This is a whole new unit. The right side is what concerned me the most. Solid. They didn't allow a sack from the first team offense or the second team offense. The third team offense, of course, it's a third team offensive line. They allowed one sack, but they still held up. So what that tells me is what Callahan, the daddy Bill Callahan, is teaching them. It's working. Continue to do. The coaching is working. And again, the coaching is what I've always preached. Coaching is going to take you a long way. Coaching is going to get you where you need to go. Coaching is going to prolong your career. I told you how my perception on football has changed, and coaching is a lot bigger piece of that part. So that's my thoughts. What about you, Hawk?
The O-line did an incredible job today. I'd probably give them like an A- in this game. In particular, the first team, they controlled the line of scrimmage. They were able to give Will Levis enough time to throw the ball. They gave enough time as well for Spears and Tony Pollard to do their thing as well too. Again, I was very impressed with the offensive line. I just hope that will continue. Hope it gives an opportunity to, allow us to do the runs and the passes that we need to do to be successful. Because, looking at our team, we have a lot of question marks. And so if the offensive line can answer those question marks, man, we can have more success than what people might have us to be. I think for me, the direction of this team, I'd say a good 30% of it is how the offensive line plays. Because again, that's on most teams. If your offensive line sucks, man, you're not going to have a good season. So because of, looking at a quarterback that's unproven, running backs that is unproven, you got to look at the offensive line. If they can gel, then it gives those players an opportunity to prove themselves and do what they need to do. So I was very, very impressed with the O-line. They did a really good job today. So shout out to the O-line for sure. So, well, cool, man. All right. So for those that are watching onto the show, man, we got the open chat right now. If you are on any other platform outside of Bleacher Report, it won't show live, but you can still put comments in the comment section. For those on Bleacher Report, man, you could throw those comments. This is the live chop up. You throw some questions out there, we'll fire off some answers, man, and we'll do that. So shout out first of all to 12 Titans, y'all. We got 12 Titans in the building. What's happening?
Yes, sir.
For sure. So John, I have a question for you, man. Before anyone throws any questions out there, I got a question for you, bro. Who would you call the MVP of this game versus the San Francisco 49ers? So we got that poll question out there, by the way, too.
In my opinion, Chance Campbell was everywhere. I mean, I don't know how many tackles he had. He had an interception. Chance was sideline to sideline. For me, hands down, it'll be Chance. And the reason why I'm giving it to Chance played most of the game. I can't give it to really none of the first team offense or none of that because they only played a quarter, really. So to me, Chance Campbell. What about you?
Facts, no papers, Jacques. That's the only answer, really, is Chance Campbell. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like 5 tackles, 3 assists, a sack and an interception. He had an interception at the end of the game. Chance Campbell was all over. He plays like that, he's going to end up being a starter. Like you can't play the games like that and not start, dudes. You know what I'm saying? But if I was to give a different answer, I would say Kearis Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I give it to Kearis Jackson. You look at a guy this game, man. Even with the kickoff, changes and things. He averaged 40 yards a kickoff, bro. Okay. So, looking at the long run that he had, man, it was very impressive. He had 2 circle buttons on that same kickoff return. I mean, he did and I see you, Kearis. You know what I mean? So I was really impressed with how well he ran the ball today on the kickoff returns. I know Jaquan Jackson had a punt return, pretty decent punt return, but I really like what Kearis Jackson did in the kickoff return game. So that would be Chance Campbell's my answer. But outside of that, man, I would give the assistant MVP to Kearis Jackson for sure.
Who would you give if you was trying to win the job between the Jackson brothers? who would you give it to?
Well, I'd probably have both. I would probably have Kearis as my kickoff returner and Jaquan Jackson as my punt returner. You know what I mean? Yep. I think Kearis Jackson, I don't really think he's that strong as a punt returner. I don't see that. I see him being more of a kickoff returner. And I think Jaquan Jackson could be both a good kickoff and punt returner, but I think he's probably a better punt returner. I don't know if he's a big touchdown punt returner. I just think he can get you some yards, get you moving. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Kearis Jackson's a big touchdown kickoff guy, but he can get you some yards, because I don't think neither one of them just has crazy speed, but they have enough ability to get the job done. What about you, Jacques?
I said Jaquan. I'd like to try to keep both of them. I actually put both of them back there in kick return. But Jaquan, because he's done it in Tulane. That was his specialty, was kick return. That was his thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with these new rules, that pause effect, I think it kind of gives him a little bit of an advantage and just say shoot and go. So again, hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully this will be consistent. Because if it's consistent, then we got us something. We got us something dangerous. So.
For sure, man. Gotcha, Jacques. So we got some poll questions out there, Jacques. I'm gonna throw you a question here too, as well, too, man. So looking at the first team offense, looking at the first series or so on offense, were you impressed with Will Levis in his first preseason game of the time that he played today?
He was one thing that I was impressed with was he didn't take the big shot, if that makes sense. He was efficient when he took what he was given, if that makes sense. You can tell he still needs to gain chemistry with his receivers. And I think if D Hop was out there, he would probably be more comfortable taking shots downfield. But from a learning perspective, I think he's matured in that. Now, again, the thing I didn't like, you're not Malik Willis, bro. I'm sorry. You're not elusive. You're big. You're solid. His thing is I'm going to run you over. But you the starting quarterback, bro, and you the future. We need you healthy versus you sitting there putting your body in harm's way. Let Malik do that. That's not – he's the third string. You the first string. So I think that's where the maturity level, in my opinion, if I got to knock him off something, that was it. Did he really throw as much? He threw it. Like I said, he was given what he was given. So I was okay with it. I think I'm from a coaching perspective, a positive. I like what he was able to do when he was able to take what he was able to take. So he took what he was taking, take it, and just leave it at that. You ain't got to take the kill shot every time. So that shows that small progression to me. What about you, Hawk?
Dude, facts no paper, man. I agree with everything you just stated. Everything. And I know he wants to score touchdowns and things and get his team in position to win. And to your point, he has to be careful. But for what he was asked to do in a very short period of time, I mean, he was pretty efficient in getting the ball out. And he was 4 for 5, in passing the ball. Just looking at it overall, I think that he didn't seem nervous. He seemed like he was ready. I think that's important too. The confidence of your quarterback. Again, he wasn't out there long, but we got to look at the quarterback position, in the preseason because. We said in our last show, we want everybody on the field in the preseason, right? We need to see everything. And hey, that's the Titans did that. You know what I mean? They had everybody on the field today that was supposed to be on the field. And on offense, you need everybody out there. And so I think that based on Will Levis and his, few plays that he did do, I think he did pretty well. I think he did. He has to be careful. He's going to be that. That's just who he is. And he's got to be careful. Like, man, you got hurt twice last year doing it. So he has to be careful doing that again this year. If he can stay healthy, man. And, Jacques, I didn't realize that we still do not, we spoke about the Chicago Bears not having a 4,000-yard passer, right?
We don't either.
We don't either.
Yep,
we don't either.
So the last one, what we do in franchise history, we do.
Right. Well, Warren Moon. Facts. Right. So Will Levis to stay healthy, with 17 games, it could happen. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to stay healthy. I got to see him in 17 games. You know what I mean? And so I think he did well. And I think he did well based on the time he played today, for sure.
Now, again, he has a hell of a test when the season starts. He has a test because those defenses. This is why I would like to see him go against a first-team defense. That was the second, and that was the third-team defense, right? He needs to be throwing to Calvin Ridley 100 times after practice to get that chemistry. He needs to eventually be, I got my eyes closed, I can throw to you. My eyes closed, I can throw to you, right? And just know it's not going to get easy. And I want Titans fans' expectations to be tampered because we got the Jets, the Bears. And I know people like, well, the Bears. No, just get ready because Will's going to be tested. And this is going to be a good test for him because you're going up against Sauce Gardner? Is that his name, Sauce? From the Jets?
Absolutely.
Defense is no joke. So just anticipate some things and don't panic when you see some things, right? Again, took what he could took. I'm proud of him. But let's string it together with some consistency. I hope they actually play him the whole preseason. I hope he plays. In my opinion, I don't think he's done. I think he needs to get as many reps as he can and just start getting comfortable with his receivers. And I think that's the next thing, and that's on my list that I want to see. Offensive line and how comfortable is Will Levis with his receivers? How comfortable are you with your receivers? How comfortable are you? So that's just me.
Gotcha, bro. Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, right now we currently don't have any questions in the chat at the moment. So we'll go maybe one or two more questions, Jacques. You know what I mean? Again, shout out to the Titans with the big victory today, 17-13 over the 49ers in the preseason game there in Nashville, Tennessee. Looking at the 49ers who have playoff, of course they'll make the playoffs, but they have Super Bowl aspirations. But again, it's the preseason. To your point, it's second, third teamers out there and things like that. It's the preseason. You know what I mean? The teams are in competition with themselves, really. It's a matter of just trying to win a position. Not so much we're trying to win the game. We're trying to do the best we can to win a roster spot for real. So yeah, man. Is there any, looking at this game as well, is there any player that you saw today that a normal fan would not know that you felt did well or we should keep an eye on?
Jarvis Brownlee from Louisville.
Tell him, Jacques.
Jarvis Brownlee, man, he was our fifth. I think he got drafted in the 5th round. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Fourth. I think fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. You might be right. I think it's one of those. Well, go ahead.
That young man, he started because, again, L'Jarius Sneed is not playing and Wuze is not playing. So you need somebody to step up. And McCrary, and if I was looking at the starting lineup right, it was him, McCrary, and I think it was him and McCrary on the outside. I forgot who was in the slot. I think it was Trey Avery. But
it was Trey Avery, yep.
Yeah, his aggressive play, it's going to take him a long way. And he has a very short memory. He's very aggressive. And he's a hell of a man corner. And he's just going to continue to get better. And for depth, to have him as a depth piece, oh, yes, sir. If y'all don't know, just get ready. You're about to know. And matter of fact, for a minute there, they stopped throwing to his side, and the weakest side, which was Trey Avery. Again, I'm looking at Trey. I'm like, yeah, Trey, he's about to take your spot, my guy. He's about to take. He's like the Tajay Spears type thing we knew in preseason. You said it. I seen enough. Jarvis got one more game with me. If he can string it along, don't put him back out there. Don't put him back out there. Let him sit. Let him sit. Don't let him get injured. Don't let him get hurt. That's for me. What about you, Hawk?
So shout out to you, Jacques, about Jarvis Brownlee, bro. I know you've been high on Jarvis since we drafted him and those things. And for me, it was more of where we drafted the guy as far as what we needed, not so much him as a player. But right. Shout out to Jarvis Brownlee's a dude, bro. He's a leaguer, dog. He's gonna be in the league for years, dog. The dude's got it. He has it for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm very impressed with Brownlee. But I will give you another answer. I'm going Otis Reese, man. I'm gonna go Otis Reese. Yep. I could tell this guy's aggressive, man. Mm-hmm. Even on plays he wasn't making tackles, bro. Like he was trying to get, like, say, a sack of the quarterback. The running back's trying to block him. Like Reese was trying to kill the guy. Like, damn, Otis, relax. Preseason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell, like, he has a lot of energy. He wants to make plays. It's, I would say, man, like, okay, we got a question. Otis Reese over Chance. Ooh, wee. I'm going to say this. I'm going to answer this question. Is it Lost Boy 615? Shout out to you, man. I'm going to say not yet as far as Chance over Otis Reese. I'm giving Otis Reese the start now. Now, I'm not sitting there saying Chance can't. Chance has another game, or he don't even have to have the greatest game ever like he did today. That was a game of games. He plays like that in the preseason, more games like that. Chance over Reese, bro. You can't be on the bench playing like that. I'm gonna say going into week 2 in the preseason, I'm going Reese right now. What about you, Jacques?
I'm going Reese, like you said, but Chance, man, if he continue to creep, we need to be talking about Jack Gibbons. That's who we need to be talking about. Ooh, it should literally be Reese, Murray, Chance, Jack Gibbons, in my opinion. That's just me, because out of all that whole group, their playing styles are similar. Reese and Chance are similar. Chance is a better coverage linebacker, but Reese is that rover type linebacker that's going to be ready to just smack him in his mouth, right?
Yep.
And Jack Gibbons is just that old school linebacker that's just, he's smart, right? He's very smart. But the Chance, man, that Joker, man, he was all over the field. I know he got hurt his rookie year, but I said, if this is what we was expecting, man, hey, again, I have to see it again. If my just me personally, again, I told you, I'm adding a third thing to what I want to see this preseason. I want to see the offensive line. I want to see Will Levis continue to progress. And then number 3, I want to see consistency from games that of players that had great games the last game. I want you to do that same thing this game. And then that's when I can start. You can start making a believer out of me, right? Chance did his thing, but can he do that next week? If he's doing that next week in the same stat line, like you said, Hulk, you can't sit on the bench, bro, because if he sits on the bench and he goes to the practice squad, somebody going to grab him.
He's going to get scooped up immediately.
Man, he'll be probably starting with the Steelers. He's a Steelers guy. Right. When I look at him, you're a Steeler, bro. Like, that's just that right there. And we have a history of feeding Steelers linebackers, and they turn into something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So great question, Lost Boy 615.
Yeah, appreciate that, Lost Boy, for sure. So, well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everyone that's joined in the show and watched the show, man. Hey, shout out to the Titans with a big victory tonight. Shout out to all the coaches and the players as well, too, man. Listen, if you have not followed us on Bleacher Report, shame on you. Follow me at Lorenzo_the Hawk. You can follow Jacques as well as Jacques Merrill. Our names is listed on the link as well. Man, we're out there, man. Check us out on YouTube, Tennessee Titans Weekly. Check us out on Twitter, Titans Weekly 24/7. We're on Instagram at Tennessee Titans Weekly. We are in those internet streets, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate Bleacher Report for, again, giving us this opportunity. Thank y'all for watching the show. We're going to continue to get better, tighten up, and Hawk take us out, man.
All right. Well, listen, we hope you all have a great rest of your weekend and going into the next week. Tennessee Titans, let's get it done, man. Preseason 2, man. So listen, as we always say and as we always do, man, facts.
No paper.